okay, here we are. And this is a the Convening Climate Collaborators member-led interest group from ASAP. So before going into the design thinking part, I want just to remind you, and for those of you that are sort of new or have never heard before about how the ASAP network functions, and how in the idea of the member-led groups also works in sync with the larger ASAP network. Basically, there are three large, aspects of this, the way how the network works. Works for connectivity. So members build stronger connections, share information, create knowledge systems and resource channels. Also for alignment, which would be basically building up on that connectivity. So we align around common values and goals. We agreed on shared standards and terms. We create and promote a shared vision as well. And furthermore, building again up in the connectivity and alignment, there is the aspect of production, where members, we can engage in joint action for specific outcomes. So probably if you have attended other meetings, other groups, you have been involved in either connecting or aligning specific goals, or perhaps in producing something, right? So getting into the design thinking process, what I can tell you is that it's a human-centered process for creative problem solving that helps us generate, embrace, and execute on bold ideas. What is very interesting to me is that this process is most of all human-centered, right? And we want to create a problem we want to create, a solution that resolve, very intimate human-based problems that we have, especially I have noticed that government agencies are starting to adopt this process. EPA, lately I was participating in a project proposal for EPA, and they were basically asking, they were the way they structure the bid or the call for proposal was really requesting from participants to focus in a human-centered approach. And it's a very creative one, and you don't have to be a designer or, this person that is extremely, creative. No, it's a process that is for everybody, everyone. And this process, it starts with people and their needs. So it's again, it's very human-centered, and it focuses on the needs. In this case, we will be focusing our needs as a group, right? And what is it that we want to create for us and for other members. And the process begins with a problem or a design challenge, depending on what word are you more comfortable using. Usually the design thinking people, the creators, talk about problem or design challenge. And through this process, we create a service, a system, a product, a strategy, and more. I mean, basically, we can create whatever we want. It is a very iterative process. And it usually is a 6-phase process. Some people talk about 5, and they are not much into the last process, which is communicate. But basically start with understanding the problem or, the challenge. Then defining the problem, ideate as a 3rd phase, in ideate about that problem, solutions, and then prototyping, usually 3 or 4 ideas, 2 are chosen, we decide on that, and we prototype them, and then we test them. And at the end, a very important part, I believe, and there's a lot of emerging techniques to communicate the outcome, right? Another thing, core aspects of design thinking, we have that it's there's always tension between divergence and convergence, right? And this is this diverging and converging is basically the engine for a creative problem-solving process. So it is important to have these converging and diverging ideas and points of views. In fact, we want that. And obviously here in climate resilience and adaptation, we all have that. Climate is basically the diverging ideas. Then it's a very concrete and abstract process at the same time. So it's not just all about let's create and go in this abstract world of ideas and models and things like that. No, it also is about getting real in the world with the needs that that people have. And also it's a very iterative and a very collaborative, and that's why I really liked when I bumped into this model, and because it really requires multiple interactions, multiple people participating in this process, and what we call stakeholders, and in each phase there's a lot of collaboration and iteration. No, it's not a linear process. It's just like we can come back from phase 2 to phase 1 again, reflect on that, and then continue, and then come back. And there are many feedback loops. And there's a very creative and very tolerant. The idea here is really have beginner's mindset everywhere, just to step aside from everything that so far, and just really start with a fresh perspective. There again, having in mind that it's a learning process. That's something another aspect that I really like about this is it's a learning. We all are learning to understand those needs and to understand perspectives and include them, and then to learn how to create and design, even though we think that we are not the creative type, right? And it's an important aspect about this entire design thinking process is that we don't jump into conclusions. No, we don't want to just resolve. In other words, we just don't want to go and say like, okay, here is the problem, and then here's the solution, and that's jump into that. It's a process, right? You have to be patient, and you have to be tolerant with that ambiguity, and just feel comfortable with that. So as I was here in this showing you the process, we start the phase number 1 is understand. And this is very important. I mean, I have been, the past 5 years working on planning for climate adaptation, resilience, and also for sustainability. And if you are having that space as well, you know that the first thing that you have to do is gather your team and understand what is it the problem. What is it that you want to do, your goals, etc. And in this case, we have a problem, so to speak, or a challenge or an opportunity, just to use words more, positive. But it's a bit what I was saying at the beginning. I created this group with collaboration in mind, because again, there's no news among us that no one sector, no organization, and much less individual can approach the climate crisis alone. We all know that is a systems approach that we have to apply in this case. Many of you have been doing this. This is a field that is highly collaborative to advance common goals and mitigate risks. And then we need also, I always say we need an army of people that collaborate to multiply, scale, augment, expand in solutions. Not only the solutions that we have created so far, but in the new, creating the future basically. And there is no other way to do it but through collaborations. And here is an interesting part. There are experts out there that are focusing in collaboration. They are realizing that and then they have concluded that we need to learn to cooperate more, to collaborate and work better together. Because there is not much cooperation as there should be. So again, this is a huge adjustment that we as professionals in this field, we have to put out, according to my point of view, right? It's my opinion based on my experience. We have to really focus a lot on how we are going to collaborate, cooperate, and how we are going to learn to work and to, because again, we have we don't have a lot of time to comply with the goals that we have agreed at a national, state, or international level as well. So we need to really act in collaboration and add resources to tackle and expand or create new solutions, which is basically creating the future that we want. And so here we go to the part that is the active part. And we're still in, we're basically embarking in this session to phase 1, which is understand. And when you want to understand something, you have to ask a lot of questions, right? So having said that, the larger problem is, or opportunity is that we have collaboration. We need to collaborate. Many of you are doing that right now, but we need to be more intentional about that collaboration. And another aspect on top of that is that we have this group, right? We have this opportunity to create something that will help us, another space, another tool. Many of you are also members or have other networks, also perhaps providing spaces similar, But this is an opportunity to design something based in our needs. Doesn't matter how many people we have you know, a small amount, a large amount, there will people that will join. It's fine. The more people we have, the better. So I have here set of questions that I would like us to go over. And, you know, we have 30 minutes. We have 30 minutes more or less to kind of have a conversation. It is a conversation. No, we are starting at this moment in which we want to basically understand what are our needs, and also thinking this process is also very empathic. You know, we're thinking about the needs that we have, but also putting ourselves in other people shoes that also have needs, and then perhaps don't have this this opportunity, that they don't know about this group, and also thinking about what is it that we would like to create in order that work for us and for others. So having said that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the questions in the chat, so then you have them. Hold on. While I do that, in the meantime, does anybody have a question on what is it that we are going to do, or about the process?
Are we stopping after the understand step? Is that?
Yes, we are going to. Yeah, we are basically. It takes time. No, this process. We will use many more sessions. But yeah, we are basically stopping here and just understanding what is it that we are going to do with the group. And by the way, this process also helps and will help you individually, and you know, I can share resources and you can study more about it, and you can take it to your organization as well. Basically, you can apply this to your work directly. Hold on, I thought I had that document. Really, here we are. Okay, and it is again, it's just a conversation. We don't have to get. An important aspect is that we are just going to explore. We don't need to resolve anything. We don't need to jump into the solution. It's just basically an exploration.